These are protein Pop-Tarts, except they're not just regular protein Pop-Tarts. These are Pop-Tarts made from 1 can of chickpeas. Let me explain. I made a lot from 1 can of chickpeas, and part of my childhood was the cinnamon and brown sugar Pop-Tart. I loved those things. They were so good. I mean, look at this. Look at that. Come on. Look at that. That is, mesmerizing. So let me grab a can of chickpeas and I'll show you how to make them. First things first, all we have to do is drain and rinse the chickpeas. We are going to save the Aquafaba. Not sure if I'm going to use it yet. Then we just want to dry our chickpeas. Pretty good, as best as we could get it. You know, we want them fairly dry. So I'm just going to toss these into my bowl of my food processor. Now, this isn't my first attempt at making this chickpea protein Pop-Tart. Tried to make it entirely out of chickpeas and protein, and man, that did not go well. Now for the chickpeas, we just need to blend them into kind of some bits. We're not flour, we're not looking to make hummus. We just want to pulse them into like mealy crumbs, which to me, I like the look of that. That looks pretty good. Now to build the Pop-Tart pastry, it's like a puff pastry, we are going to be using some flour, but not nearly as much as what you would use making a normal puffed pastry. I'm going to use 1 cup, I have it even, and I am going to be adding some extra protein to this. Originally, when I was making this, I was making purely protein Pop-Tarts. I was actually kind of mimicking the legendary Pop-Tart and not your regular Pop-Tart. But to get the same macros using the chickpeas, it was a little tough. So we are going to be adding quite a bit of protein. I'm using this Sun Warrior vanilla protein. This is a pretty great plant-based protein, 17 grams of protein per 25 grams. We're actually gonna be adding around 30 grams of protein. To sweeten this and for browning effect and just for the entire effect, and to also keep calories very low because I want these to be fairly good for you, we're gonna be using allulose. Table sugar contains around 4 calories per gram. This stuff is around 0.2 calories per gram. Most of this passes through your body without being utilized at all. It's not being utilized for energy, and it's also not a fiber either. Your gut is not going to process this. It's almost like a zero effect on your body, except it provides a pretty decent amount of sweetness. Now, because your body doesn't recognize it as a fuel source, there's almost zero spike to your blood sugar, almost zero effect on your insulin levels. But there have been some studies, it may actually have an anti-glycemic effect, which is kind of cool. When paired with other carbohydrates, it might actually blunt the spike from high carbohydrate-based foods. We need 2 tablespoons of allulose. Lastly, a little pinch of salt, and let's pulse this together for a few minutes, which is plenty of time for today's sponsor. You have seen me talking about Miracle Made sheets for well over a year now. It's the ad where I'm laying in bed talking about if you're too hot or too cold, I highly recommend you check out Miracle Made's bed sheets. Miracle Made sheets are inspired by NASA and use silver-infused fabrics that are temperature regulating so you can sleep at the perfect temperature all night long. And actually helps prevent up to 99.7% of bacterial growth. So it leaves your sheets feeling cleaner and fresher 3 times longer than other sheets, with fewer odors and fewer wash cycles. And they feel nice, if not nicer, than sheets used by some 5-star hotels. They are incredibly comfortable without the high price tag of other luxury brands. I used to wake up in the middle of the night sweating or freezing, really just uncomfortable, until I found Miracle Made's bed sheets. So gang, it's time to upgrade your sleep or give the gift of better rest. Go to trymiracle.com/SauceStache to try Miracle Made sheets today. You'll save over 40%, and when you use promo code SauceStache, you'll get an extra 20% off plus a free 3-piece towel set. And they make an amazing gift with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk. That's trymiracle.com/SauceStache, code SauceStache at checkout. Thanks Miracle Made for sponsoring today's video and for the incredible nights of sleep. We're back. This looks really good. At this point, I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of a plant-based butter. I'm just using like this country crock butter. We want this to be cold and firm. You can use whatever plant-based butter you like. You can also use a refined coconut oil. That would also work. You just wanna make sure that it is solid. Now I'm just going to, again, pulse this until that butter's kind of combined, mixing as I go. And it should look like a pretty coarse sand. Butter got picked up pretty quick, which is great. I'm also gonna add maybe 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon directly to this mixture, just to kind of get the cinnamon flavor all the way throughout. I love cinnamon. This smells amazing. Okay, this looks pretty good. You can kind of see that coarse sand look that I was talking about. So now what we're going to be doing is adding some liquid. We're going to hydrate this dough up. We're going to be using soy milk to do that. That's going to add some more protein. We're going to start with 2 tablespoons and then add a tablespoon at a time until it comes together. Okay, that was 4 tablespoons. Kind of started to clump together. We have a nice mixture here. It's actually a little wet, so I might have to add some more flour. But at this point, we're just gonna take it out and we're just going to knead this together. Might have went 1 tablespoon over. I'm gonna add a little bit of flour to my work surface because this is sticky. Okay, this looks pretty good. This is a pretty solid dough. I'm gonna toss this into a bag and we're gonna throw it in the fridge while we prep everything else and then get ready to roll this out. Pretty happy with that so far. Now I'm just gonna get the oven preheated for 350 degrees. And let's make our cinnamon filling. Pretty stoked about this. For the filling, we're just gonna be using the allulose again. We got 3 tablespoons of allulose. Now I'm making probably about 5 tarts. 1 tablespoon of cinnamon, teaspoon of maple syrup. If you wanna get really close to the actual taste, you could use molasses. The agave will kind of work, but you'll just lose a little bit of like that flavor. And then here's where we're gonna use some of the aquafaba. We're gonna do about a teaspoon of aquafaba. I'm gonna do half teaspoon first, kind of start to whisk this together just to see if we get this like paste. We'll add another half teaspoon, kind of see what it looks like. You know, right now this is still very powdery. We want it to be kind of thick and glossy. I mean, we're thick, but we're not glossy. So once we get to this point, to where it's thick, runny, well, you know what? I'm just gonna go 1 tiny drop, not anymore. That's a great looking mix right there. I'm excited about that. To roll this dough out, I'm gonna use some parchment paper. Let's grab the dough. We're gonna start rolling. So like I said, this should be enough to make 5 doughs. So right off the bat, let's just cut this in half. 5 Pop-Tarts, so we need 10 out of this. So each one of these is gonna be 5. Roll these guys out. There we go. There's one of our sheets. I'm just gonna make a bunch of these. Boom, Pop-Tart pastries. Look at these guys. These are perfect. Perfect. Just gonna lay out 5 of these. Give myself some space to work. Mix up our filling again, and then each one of these is gonna get around a teaspoon of the filling. Right in the center. We can add more as we spread it out and see how it comes out. I'm gonna do my best to avoid the edges, because if this kind of interferes with the seal, then it all goes downhill. Not gonna really, this doesn't need to be really spread. All I'm gonna try to do is just push it down the middle a little bit, because when we put that top piece on, it should spread itself out. Should. A little diamond pattern. That's it. Take your top piece. You don't need to spread that extra on, that's just what I did. And then lay it, do it towards you. Edge to edge, down. Make sure it's pressed all the way around. And then I'm just gonna crimp. I'm gonna barely press. Just crimp around the edges with a fork. This is where I should have given myself a little bit more room. Flip. Do the same thing on the other side. Boom. Pop Diddity Tart. We don't want these exploding. And to prevent that, I'm just gonna poke a couple holes. Now I have these flat toothpicks. Not everybody has these. But we're just gonna pop through about 6 holes in the top. And then you can kind of press in the middle to try to distribute that filling a little bit more. And then that's your protein Pop-Tart. Do the rest of these. I have the oven preheated for 350 degrees. We're gonna toss these in the oven for about 15 minutes until the edges are golden. Man, I am excited about this. So stoked. I ended up making an extra one, but yeah, I baked these for about 30 minutes and they came out pretty nice and golden brown. They look awesome. Now, before I can glaze them, they do have to cool down. I've been letting them cool down for a minute or 2, but I am gonna toss a few in the fridge just to kind of see if we can test this glaze and just give these a test and move on from this video because, like I said, this isn't the first time I've made it. So we have our bowl here. The glaze is going to be really simple. We're gonna do about 2 tablespoons of our vanilla protein powder, 3 tablespoons of allulose, and then some soy milk. Now the soy milk, we're just gonna do a little bit at a time. I'm gonna start with a tablespoon, maybe a half of a tablespoon actually. And we're just gonna whisk this until we get a glaze, like a thick, spreadable glaze. This isn't fully cooled yet, so don't judge. This one's just the test. I'm gonna drizzle it right on top and I kind of want it to run Let's see. You can also use a toothpick to guide it. I'm actually pretty proud of this. I think this is kind of coming out the way that we wanted. And I think before we do the next one, I am gonna add a little bit of cinnamon in this glaze, just the tiniest little bit, which I should have done in the first one. Let's throw that in the fridge. I'm pretty stoked about that. Oh my gosh, these look insane. These look insane. Look at these. Look at these. Unbelievable. I don't want to keep dipping. So each one of these Pop-Tarts is 235 calories, 11 grams of protein, 6.5 grams of fat, 28 grams of net good carbs, and 4.5 grams of fiber. Ugh, amazing. Amazing. And because of the allulose and the chickpeas, the fiber in the chickpeas, this will help keep you fuller longer. An actual good breakfast versus the regular Pop-Tarts at like 70 grams of just pure sugar carbs. These are amazing. So let's see what Monica has to say. That is thick. That's a lot of cinnamon and sugar.
This is
cinnamon
so exciting.
and allulose. Let's see.
Oh.
Come here. You're coming out of the camera.
Hold on.
What are you doing?
I just forgot you said it didn't get hard.
No, the top doesn't get hard.
Yeah.
It will ice up. It is icing, but
Yay,
cheers.
Cheers.
A little different, but
It's great. It's like a Pop-Tart, but a little different. It's delicious. I love it. So a Pop-Tart, you know, you are used to it being like kind of crispy. You bite into it, it's a little hard, and then it's got the like center filling, but this is just a little softer, but it's not soft or mushy or anything like that.
like a cookie consistency.
Yeah, it's more like a cookie. Like if you bit into like a chocolate chip, you know, softer cookie with the filling in the middle.
Yeah. I mean, I am like annihilating through this.
Yeah,
It is really good.
it's delicious.
I've never had the legendary Pop-Tarts because they're like whey-based protein, but I'm assuming it would have that kind of proteiny, because these are kind of like more of a, it's a mix of protein and chickpea.
Okay.
And even
Yeah.
the glaze is made out of protein.
Okay. Yeah. No, I like it. I could eat
Yeah.
this all day.
Yeah,
It's delicious.
super tasty. I mean, it's wild that there's almost no sugar in this.
It's sweet. But it's not overly sweet.
No, 9 out of 10. We'll do it again. And I do wonder if you toasted it up, if it would be crispy.
That's a possibility.
Well, there we go. That's dinner or lunch. Midday.
Snack.
It's 4.
It's a snack for me.
It's a snack. That's why I did the 1.5. Wow. Yeah, real happy about that.
I love this. I can't wait to eat a
Yeah.
lot.
Murdered it. Yeah, now I gotta figure out how to wrap them up.